Harder.
Selfish wretch. You
Oh yeah,
come to
talk
my
dirty.
house. You lay your filthy man hands on my daughters.
Well,
and
actually,
now
they
you
put hands on me,
my property.
bruh.
So in my last video, I was really glazing RE7 like it was the best thing since air fryers. It brought Resident Evil back to its horror roots, and to me it seemed like Capcom finally figured it out. So surely the follow-up Resident Evil Village would take everything they learned from RE7 and apply it to this new installment, right? Right? Hello, it's Vert, your favorite backlog gamer, and it's time to pay the village a visit. If you are new here, I'm on a foolish quest to finish my backlog and share my experiences with y'all. So lock in, chat. So Village picks up a few years after the events of RE7. Ethan and Mia have a baby, and everything is looking peaceful. Then Chris Redfield shows up and shit goes south immediately.
What? Hey yo, I'm convinced that they do not like Mia.
We wake up in a weird village where we're met with zombies, werewolves. The village, while I do love the aesthetic, definitely felt out of place in a Resident Evil game. I wanted to keep an open mind while being introduced to this world.
About what's going on around here?
Ardo and Elena.
We were doing fine by ourselves.
Please, Ethan.
Really now?
Leonardo, what's wrong? Are you okay?
No. Oh.
Couldn't save him. He was already gone.
See, this is the problem, yo.
No, we're getting out of here.
What did I do?
Together.
Don't bring her, Ethan. Do not do that.
Elena, don't give
See,
up.
Ethan, I told you not to bring her. I said it, don't bring her. Oof.
I get snatched and then introduced to the main villains of the game. After escaping certain death, we meet a mysterious figure known as the Duke. The Duke explains that in order to save Rose, we have to take down the four lords and their leader who goes by Mother Miranda. So off we go on our journey. Our first stop is the Lady Demi. Okay, I'm not gonna pretend I can pronounce that. Lady D for short. So unless you're just not tapped in, then you would know the 10-foot thirst trap that is Lady D. So I'm not gonna beat a dead horse and make Gunnar remarks.
Escaped my little brother's idiot game.
Yo, Capcom knew exactly what they were doing with
Let's
this.
see how.
Oh, yes, yes. The devs understood the assignment.
Starting to go a little.
No need because I did it during stream. So some quick lore on Lady D. She was a noble born with a rare blood disease that made it so that she needed to consume human blood. Mother Miranda took notice and injected her with the Cadeau parasite. This gave Lady D enhanced strength and regeneration, but also increased her need for blood. She literally turns humans into wine for consumption. In order to defeat Lady D, you have to first defeat her 3 daughters. Once they are defeated, you take on Lady D herself, who turns into this giant chimera type deal.
So let's not forget that this is all because Ethan could not stay away back in Resident Evil 7. You guys kidnapped me.
With Lady D defeated, I was honestly feeling pretty good about the game. The castle felt the closest thing to classic Resident Evil. Exploration, backtracking, puzzles, tension. But after this point, that's when the game slowly started to lose me. But before we get into that, it's time to visit the next lord. Okay, I got this. Beneviento. Yo, let me know if I aced that.
Hey, yo, what in Harlem is that? Oh, nah.
Ugh, this area was my least favorite. The main gimmick here is that they take away all your weapons and gear. You mostly do a bunch of puzzles and run away and hide from monsters. It's not like I'm against this concept, but after the combat heavy section that was Lady D's castle, this felt like an awkward pause in pacing, kinda.
Flask.
I've been waiting for so long. I'd make a much better daughter than Rose. Please, won't you stay with me forever?
Nah, I'm good. I got a thing later. Yo, Capcom really can't help themselves, can they? They make one really good game and then they just go full on like Radio or Forrest Gump in development. I don't know what happened. Now I'm worried for RE9. I'm really worried.
The puzzling wasn't necessarily hard because I have a 10,000 IQ. The baby monster though was pure diabolical on Capcom's part. The boss fight with Beneviento herself was straight room temperature dog water. Nothing else to say, except this area let me down like my father. Moving on. Now it was time to hit up the swamp, where we had to deal with Moreau. This area also was not very memorable, and this is kind of where my main issue with Village starts to become obvious. The game constantly jumps between ideas. 1 second is trying to be a horror, the next second is trying to be RE4, and then sometimes it feels like a completely different franchise.
No, it's because you're ugly.
The only reason this is not the worst area is because here at least I got to shoot things. Just some puzzling, Chris makes another obnoxious appearance, and we put Moreau out of his misery.
Fish out of water. Defeated the mutated Moreau.
We then head over to the final lord, Heisenberg. Nope, not that one. His level is a giant factory, which is definitely a step up from the last two areas in my opinion.
Chat, I don't even know if this is still Resident Evil, but I'm having fun at least.
The boss fight with Heisenberg gave me a sinking suspicion. At this point, I fully accepted my conspiracy theory. I'm convinced this game started as a new IP, and then Capcom hit a wall and made it into a Resident Evil game. I can't prove it though. I mean, the four lords are cartoonishly evil, even by RE standards. Anyway, that's all lords defeated, so it's time for the end of the game, right? Right.
Sample your blood for later.
Oh my gosh, shut up.
The ceremony will be complete.
You're just
and I will
monologuing.
become her true mother, bound
Ugh.
for eternity in blood.
My team and I were careless.
Hey yo, this better not be a Chris Redfield
We took
section.
down the transformed Miranda.
A Chris Redfield section. This is exactly what I've been missing. Is it clear that I don't like Chris? Chris meets up with me, and I forgot to mention this. The Mia that he killed in the beginning of the game was actually Mother Miranda in disguise. Dun dun dun. And for even more peak writing, Chris's reasoning for not explaining this and being a dick to Ethan was that he believed Ethan was compromised as well, which I did not find satisfactory at all.
I mean, I can't get over the fact that Chris was a dick to Ethan for absolutely no reason. Like, you think I'm out here killing lords for my health? I'm clearly not infected.
We regain control of Ethan, who is not dead. This is when we find out that he was infected in RE7 and is now a part mold. This revelation didn't really move me. In RE7, watching Ethan just rub alcohol on his lethal wounds just felt like part of the experience. Like when we see Leon break the laws of physics, it's just something we accept as the RE fanbase. So giving an explanation for why Ethan was able to withstand such punishment kinda bummed me out. Ethan's body is falling apart, so like Vin Diesel, he decides to go on one more ride. After finally defeating Mother Miranda, Ethan saves Rose, but decides to use what's left of his life to ensure Rose and Mia escape the village. Yeah, not gonna lie, a homie kinda teared up. I think this was a great ending to Ethan's arc. We fast forward to Rose being a teenager, and apparently she has inherited some mode powers of her own, which we will explore in the DLC. Okay, I mentioned this earlier, but my personal headcanon is that this was never meant to be an RE game. I felt this was meant to be a new IP, and I guess Capcom couldn't fully reach a vision, so they slapped Resident Evil onto this so they could make some money. Now, I don't mean to say that the game is bad per se. I think the game is fun. It just doesn't feel like an RE game in tone. I get that the vampires and werewolves are byproducts of whatever experiments this Neo Umbrella or whomever is concocting, but once Heisenberg turned into a Decepticon, the game kind of lost me. Ethan is back. He's still the endearing character that I enjoyed in RE7. I mean, he still gets the absolute shit kicked out of him though. Between Mia's death, losing his daughter, and all the eldritch horrors beyond his comprehension, you can't help but feel bad for him. Although it's still weird that he's basically a faceless protagonist, but his death at the end of the game really hit me in the feels. Meanwhile, the game's main villain, Mother Miranda, was extremely forgettable. Aside from Lady D and Heisenberg, all the other villains were just uninteresting to me. And this is what I mean when I say there was no clear vision. Now, I'm about to immediately contradict myself. because this game also felt like it was trying really hard to be RE4. Now, I'm gonna show my age real quick. If I had to explain my feelings, it would be like the bug in Men in Black. Hold on, let me cook. Where the bug is RE8 and is trying to fit into the human suit, which is RE4. I hope that made sense. From the vaguely European aesthetic, to the inventory case, to the fact that I almost never struggled for ammo or healing, there was definitely a little RE4 in this punch. And look, I like RE4, so these ideas weren't the worst thing. But I missed the tension of RE7. Like I said, this game feels like they learned nothing from why people like myself loved RE7. And if you haven't seen my RE7 video, please go check that out. But TLDW, RE7 brought back the horror, grotesque monsters, claustrophobic environments, and memorable moments. This game, for me at least, felt like I was just going through the motions once I left Lady D's castle. While I do believe franchises should innovate, I don't think it should cost the series its identity. I mean, there's lightsabers here. What are we doing? Despite everything, I still think this is a game worth playing if you are someone who's playing through the RE series for the first time, like myself. The moment-to-moment gunplay is great, and there are some cool action set pieces. However, the story is kind of meh after leaving Lady D's castle. If you've been enjoying more of the action shooter side of the RE series, then you will feel right at home. I was personally disappointed they strayed away from the survival horror of RE7. With that being said, them making Requiem a mix of both action shooter and survival horror was a great idea. But that's a story for another video. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like and a sub for more, and check out my other RE videos. Speaking of which, I've covered all the mainline games except the first one, which I'm still trying to figure out how to escape the mansion. Also 6 because I found it dull, but I'll return to it eventually. However, in my next video, I will be taking a detour to a galaxy far, far away with Jedi Fallen Order. Have your lightsabers ready because I do have some hot takes. Anyway, I'm Mateo Vert, your favorite backlog gamer, and you guys stay safe.